Hey everybody, welcome to the Freedom Frequency. Tonight we're gonna cover a topic, an entity, a feeling, an emotion that I think deserves a lot more awareness, a lot more observation, and that's fear. Um, kind of how it impresses upon us, how it affects our life, affects our vibe, affects our decision making. Um, so, but before that, I want to kind of just touch in with kind of an experience regarding my vibe last week. Probably going to try to do this every time, just so see if you guys can't relate to, maybe my experience and somewhat and get a better, handle on your vibration and your the vibration of your thoughts and whatnot. So, um, I participated in an event over the weekend um, that I knew it was going to be a challenge for me vibe wise. And it was kind of a new challenge. Uh, and participated in a golf event down in Pueblo, and something I've always loved doing. I mean, it's a real fun golf experience. But in the process of really kind of recognizing my vibe, I've become very aware to how alcohol kind of affects it, and um, like I've seen how when like when the Avs are in the Stanley Cup, I was going to the bar a little more and watching the games and regularly consuming a little bit more often than I normally do, and I could feel how it was kind of like really feeling me a little drudgy and probably a little bit more sensitive. And so going into this event, I knew that it was going to be a heavy drinking type affair or be welcome there. There were open bars in a few situations, and all the folks I was going with were all, really not shying away from drinking. And I really, I really didn't want to. I mean, I guess I really kind of succumbed to the peer pressure, I guess. But I did really try to bring a high vibe the whole time, and I got a lot of value out of hanging out with the people, a lot of friends I hadn't seen for a while, and share some real good times. And I had a great time Saturday and Saturday night. Just had a lot of fun with the guys and just a cool experience. And then, but on Sunday, I could just tell that it was going south. Like I knew it was going to be hot, and we weren't really in contention, and I wasn't playing good golf, and I was, uh, I could feel that drinking a little bit was just holding me down, and I just couldn't muster the real energy to like raise my vibe, I guess, to really be as enthusiastic as I was the day before. And um, but the whole time I recognized I knew I was just kind of like sinking a little bit, that it was there. And so I really was just trying to like keep to myself a bit and not really have any type of a frustrating outburst. And it was just a different experience, just kind of going through something I had done a ton of time, all my life pretty much, and really enjoyed doing, and really wanted to get the value of being around these guys and these people because they're like really important to me, and I don't get to see them a whole lot. So it was like, I was could not really be a stick in the mud, but I just kind of like this leaned in, and like I did think about my vibe a lot and really was trying to be there and have a good time. And I got a lot out of that, but at the same time, it cost me a little bit. I do kind of get a little funky on Sunday and I'm super tired the rest of the day. But um, so yeah, that was just kind of my experience. Kylo, did you have anything you want to throw out about an experience? Were you checking in with your vibe at all, or what's
I
your vibe
was,
right now?
I was, as we had talked about going down to the Renaissance and getting people up in my household can be a challenge. And it did bring down my vibe. So I worked, once I got down there, my vibe was better, but I did work hard to try to bring it back up.
Nice. Totally. Yeah, I think it's why I really like talking about it and want to keep talking about it is it does kind of change your overall experience the more you become aware of it. I mean, you can really start to see that it's always there, it's always affecting you. Um, and it can be a lot, it can be a little overwhelming, but um, it is kind of it does come down to kind of a comfort of the unknown. Um, and I really think that the essence of the spiritual path, if you will, or finding yourself or knowing yourself is gaining comfort in the unknown. Um, whether it's putting trust in something or just kind of really being at peace that, you might not have the answer or might have the conscious awareness of something, but you can still know something's there. You can still feel it. And so that kind of, leads me into the understanding of fear, just the notion of it. I make it a topic to really just focus a meeting on because I remember really processing it at one time, probably like a year and a half. I don't know, it was a download at the time, but it just became really obvious to me. Just seeing how effective it is on the human, that the experience we have in this world, how different it is when you're comfortable and happy or when you are fearful. And there's different degrees of fear. You can be petrified and really are afraid for your life, and your heart's racing and your body's working overtime, just in shock almost. Or you could have a very subtle kind of worry, right? A little wondering if anything bad's going to happen, or just honestly just kind of thinking about the negative. You're thinking about, you just don't want something bad to happen. You're just watching out for the bad. And when you have a feeling that is that powerful, that really has such an impact on our day-to-day life, you handle any situation with fear, without fear, you handle it completely different. And if you understand fear is really a low vibration, is a real low vibration feeling, and understanding your awareness goes way down, you don't see anything, see stuff as well. And, your just decision making on that aspect goes way down. But it's an excellent time to really question things, because fear should always be questioned. Whenever you have that emotion of being afraid, worried in the slightest, it's an excellent time to see what's making that happen. What thoughts are making that feeling manifest, that wretched feeling? Where's it coming from? And, I wanted to talk a little bit. I was originally going to talk about meditation tonight, but I really wanted to kind of wrestle this subject first because it is something that's like a real good premise for meditation. Is that when you are kind of analyzing your thoughts and really asking them where they're coming from, what do they want? That's the dynamic that you can take with fear, that you can constantly question it. And you will find that you are filling up a lot of the content on your own. That fear is nothing more than not knowing. Whenever you have a fear, the only reason that feeling is manifested is because you do not know the truth. You do not know what is going to happen. And your ego mind, your conscience is always asking questions, always trying to find the answer. So when it reaches a point to where it doesn't know, it either gets worried and fearful and stresses out everything else, or it kind of gives up. It goes in this kind of state of nothing really matters in a way. You know, you kind of just lose any, you try to just cut it out of your mind. But you know, there's a difference between fear and danger. So danger is very real, you know, I don't know, a avalanche coming down the mountain, you know, that's danger. You know, but fear happens obviously when many times when there is no danger. Fear happens when there's nothing happening. And fear is a negative future thought. It is a worry about something happening in the future, and you don't know what's going to happen. And so your mind comes up with a bunch of crap that could happen. And since your mind feeds off of what you feed it, it snowballs. And you start spending more and more energy on the bad that could happen in the future. And the truth is, you just don't know. Everything in the future has not happened yet. Yeah, and there's a lot of things we can say will definitely happen, you know, certain circumstances, yada, yada, yada. But many of the times, the things that really cause us fear aren't ever really that dangerous. So I think when you get that feeling, when that fear comes on you, even the slightest, you can simply be aware of it, recognize it. Hopefully recognize it before you take any action. And just question it. You know, not so much what's going to happen, fear, but where's this coming from? What's feeding this notion that this is going to happen? And a lot of times you realize that, oh, this thing's going to happen, and I don't know what's going to, I don't know what's going to happen. Or I'm fearful that something could possibly happen, you know, and even if it's highly likely, being fearful of it is going to lower your awareness, and it's going to cut you off into any other options or opportunities or even the truth of what will most likely happen. And you get tractor beamed on this just, you know, negative stuff. So and how that really kind of ties into meditation is that, and what's difficult about the spiritual path, what the work is, there's, I think I talked about this before, there's just kind of like two sides to like the spiritual path. There's the self-care, and then there's the work, the addressing your demons, you know, and that self-care, you know, we all need it, definitely, but it's easy to get lost in just that and just resort to everything is from a lack of self-care. I just need to self-care myself more. Yeah, you know, more lavender baths and you know, and nice tea, warm, delicious tea. I don't know, but then there's the questioning, and it's seeking out either the truth, your truth, or questioning these fears, these triggers that really get you, that really affect your perception, you know. And when you recognize truly that fear is simply just not knowing, you recognize that it's totally a manifestation of your conscious mind. The courage really comes in being open to the answers and not letting your mind cut yourself off from really giving the answer an honest look at. And even in, you know, when we talk about, you know, the Constitution, you know, to me, it's just plain as day, black and white. Every single one of us needs to know that thing backwards and forwards and know how to speak on it. And to me, that's the solution to everything. And I can explain that. I can even paint the path. But I do recognize that people have a lot of fear about taking on that responsibility. Because like I said, your rights only exist when you know them and you put them into action. You can speak on them. Other than that, they don't exist. You cannot do that. You do not have the rights. Not that your sovereign being does not have them. It does. It's just you will lose them. They will be taken away. There is no obligation of them to protect your rights for you. And so when you know the right thing, being open to a good outcome, being open to the unknown, being comfortable with trusting yourself and your high vibration and exploring the unknown really it really comes down to recognizing fear and what it is and how it hits you. Because a fearful mind, fears can run really, really deep. I'm going to talk about traumas and how I see how they really mangle up our experience. But a lot of that stuff's rooted from a really bad thing happening, rewiring kind of the memory, but creating such a triggered awful emotion for us that we're never capable of re-experiencing, re-seeing it, how it really happened. And we don't want to re-experience those awful things because we are just wired with the pain of it. But you have to be willing to kind of let go of that fear a little bit to really allow yourself, allow one to heal, to really get a real healing vibration. Because the mind's powerful. The mind tells us whatever it is it wants to tell us. And, it knows our fears and we use our fears against us. When we're fearful of something, we'll say a whole bunch of other stuff to avoid something and just not even have to talk about it. We'll change major habits in our life to avoid ever addressing something or look, that's having a negative impact on our experience. So fear should just always be questioned. I mean, I can't make it any simpler than that. Even now, I find things that really grab me and it's just what is it? And it's just there's a bad outcome that could happen from some of the stuff I'm doing. And then the more and more I question it and say, where was the real awful thing happen? And I realize that it just takes so many other things that go in a certain direction for that bad thing to happen. That it's that just kind of on its own merits, it kind of dissipates. So I think that's really what I want to talk about. If you got anything you want to discuss a little bit, I'd love to keep going. And I mean, we can talk about how if you watch the freaking media, you just watch TV you observe it, you don't watch it. You will, there's a sense of fear that will come on at some point, no matter what. At some point, it will, and it may come up in a nice story, a great story, but there's still this and you just walk. I mean, you recognize that that's almost the exact intent of why they're putting whatever they're putting out. I mean, if we collectively had a collective sense of fear, it would be that everything's going to be awful and there's nothing we can do about it. Right? And there's so many people that have that feeling. There's a lot of people out there that are it doesn't matter. I just don't want it to get any more awful. And that's a fearful mentality. Yeah, they're not going to say they're scared, like they're going to die tomorrow, but there's this overall sense of, and it really, I think there is this kind of like uh, a barometer almost that, if you're looking to the future and you have a sense of worry that bad things are going to happen, you're living a little bit of, you have a fearful vibration, even subtle. If you got a feeling that, hey, things are going to work out, I don't know how, you know, but they're going to be okay. Things are going to be good. That's a choice. That's a present moment choice. The other thing about fear is that it's something that takes away from your being present. You're when you're present, you're in the moment. That's when your vibe is highest. When you're observing everything that's going on right now. You're observing your body, your feeling, your environment, and you're not watching them or focusing. You just have a sense of, observation. That's when you're really, at your best. That's when your things come to you quick and you're more engaged in what other people are talking about. But if your mind starts to drift into the future or the past, you're simply not present. So, I mean, we often think about awful things we've gone through. Those manifest fears, right? Like, this happened. I don't want to ever happen again. I don't want this terrible thing to ever happen again. So your mind's in the past, reliving that thing, and then it's manifesting through you and projecting some fear in the future. And then you kind of manicure your life to avoid the fear and completely disregard what the real danger was or what the truth was. And it is a wasted energy, and it is the most toxic energy, and it is also the most manipulative energy. Putting fear into somebody is extremely toxic. There's nothing more toxic than truly intentionally scaring somebody. And I think that our society, I feel like there's a league of men that were all raised or something or got some kind of training that, to be a man or to get what you want, people had to be afraid of you, or you had to use fear, you had to scare people. And it's so damn effective that you get addicted to it, and it becomes who you are and just how you operate. And it is just should be like avoided at all costs, and we have, as a human, we have no choice of totally getting away with it until you can recognize really what it is. It doesn't even exist. It's not even real. You can't touch it. It's a manifestation of your mind, and it affects your blood bag, affects your vessel. It is a low vibration that just radiates throughout you. And even though you might not say, "Oh, I'm scared. I'm fearful. This is awful," like that constant worry, that negative thoughts that are picking away at you, like those radiate through every fiber of you. And I think it has a total effect on our physical health too. I mean, it's all interrelated. So, what are your thoughts, Kylo? You're on mute, by the way.
Yeah, so I just have the story to tell. As you
Awesome.
were saying about fear, and
Yeah.
I don't, I think I was probably watching TV or something. But anyway, I'm a prepper, and I feel like I'm prepped for
Right. That's
whatever,
a good
right?
topic. That's a good topic.
Yeah. But I was driving to go pick up my daughter. We're gonna go work out, and I turned the corner, and my mind just went, "Oh, I'm composting. How are my worms? Do I need to flip that compost? Oh, do I need a bike because gas prices are going up?" Like all these thoughts. Like I had a million thoughts going through my head. And next thing I know, I missed her exit. I forgot
Right.
to go pick her up. But yeah, it was just, and I think it was, with prices, inflation, and all that stuff going up, am I prepared enough?
Right.
And I don't want to say like I'm fearful for it, but it is a concern. Do you know what I'm saying? Does
Totally.
that make
It's the
sense?
same vibration. Like I'm not, fear is like that. It's not always have to be a panic, like a concern in a way. You're concerned because there's a bad outcome that you are thinking about. And then you don't want it to happen. That's really that's fear. I mean, and not, you know, it's not the darkest black too. It's the lightest gray, and yeah, prepping, I really had that vibe for a while too. And um I think, it was just I recognized that it was coming from this like real fearful place. And I also recognized that it was a never-ending pit. You know, you can never be
I
prepared
agree.
for
You can
you
never
don't
be
know what's
prepared
going
for
to happen.
everything.
You can never be prepared for
Yep.
what's going to happen.
Yep.
Your mind can exactly, and that's what it is. You race and race about what could happen. So, okay, if that happens, I'm okay here. But oh, well, this thing could happen, and it's just it's an energy suck, and it also makes you drawn to going there. You know what I'm saying? You think about what's going on in the world, you're thinking, okay, this thing's ready to crash. We're going to be prep, my prepping's going to pay off here pretty soon. You kind of want it to pay off, right? And that,
Well, yeah, because my food's
but
gonna go bad.
exactly, like it doesn't make you feel safer, right? I mean, um, and I think that when you understand that, like, fear is not knowing, it's not knowing like yourself, not knowing your truth. And whatever it is, I'm not here to tell you what the truth is, but when you reconcile, you really realize your power and what your experience is here on this earth. Like, you have such greatness and competency and capability that there really isn't a whole lot of concrete danger to the human out there. Um, I mean, there could be some that none of us even know about, right? There's a lot of that energy going out. I mean, I've been pretty deep in that, the conspiracy stuff. There's these bad, awful folks that are all trying to get us all. And there's a lot about that I can't really argue against. I mean, uh, you know, we are feeling a negative energy from the environment we're in. And some of it I feel is kind of accidental and like uneducated and just not really knowing and just doing what we're supposed to do. But there are I do think real bad vibes out there that are uh take a lot of energy, or suck a lot of energy out of the human when we're suffering and when we are in fear. I mean, you could, if you take it from a simple Bible religious standpoint, I mean, if one had total faith in God, if one believed everything was going to be okay, no matter what they saw and experienced and had to do and yada yada, that God had your back, there would be no real need to be fearful. And I'm not saying that you're fearful means you don't believe in God. I'm not saying that at all. But it is part of the human experience, is manifesting and recognizing our soul, our feelings, how we connect to everything else on this earth. And a lot of the bad things that do happen out there, there are a lot of the actions that really have a true effect on us, on our human experience from others, is fear. A lot of people do things to each other because they're afraid of some other thing if they don't. And the system makes that happen. Like, I feel bad for all the, I don't like wearing a mask. I don't think it's right. I feel awful for the folks that are working that have to make people like me do it to keep their job. Like, it's just crap. But and if it all gets, and that's that fear that even gets accepted, that we all have this underlying agreed upon discomfort, concern, even we don't like things, want things to be better, but we've all kind of accepted it. And I think that's kind of the dangerous aspect, is when we take our mind completely off of it because we don't want to recognize or handle the possible fear. And I think that, when you look at all the crap that's out there, all the way our system's being run, there's a lot of people saying that everything's okay, and a lot of people saying that somebody else is going to come and fix everything. But I know everything can be fixed if the people understand their power and really choose to get involved. And the only thing I see that keeps us from that is that inner sense of fear, that crap that's been made up in our mind. Like when I to talk about rights, rights don't exist unless you use them. And the only reason you aren't out there yelling at the top of your lungs at every instance that somebody or yours constitutional rights are being infringed is because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't ever see anybody do it. Nobody's told you that that's what needs to be done. And they've given you the examples of people that have tried that have suffered a consequence. But I think I repeated myself on that one, but anyway. All right. Any you want questions or anything you want to keep talking about this? Or I'll just end it.
I think I'm good.
Okay.
I don't have any questions off the top of my head right
So,
now.
like, what would you consider, like, give me an example of the difference between like a fear and a danger? Where, yeah.
I got one for you.
All right.
When I was a kid,
Perfect.
there was a tornado. You know where mom and dad live.
Yep.
Tornado up off of Highway 7.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that and I knew it was coming my way. So I went downstairs, cleared out the closet. And that was me providing my safety.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fear. Now the danger would have been if the tornado was right above us.
Right. I mean, the tornado is a danger, 100%. Right.
But it was too far away for it to hurt
Fair
us.
enough. But it sucking your house up and you flying off in the tornado, like, I mean, that didn't happen. Sure, it could have, but at the same time, could you have done anything about it? Right. And a lot of times, if you ask yourself, like, there is a fear that's even pressing, it's like, can I do something about it right now to alleviate it? No. Okay. Well, then leave me alone. Like, it's, that's the energy when I was talking about, I want to get into meditation, is that when you attack your thoughts or you ask them and work with them, you ask them why and what's coming down to, and you get to the issue. Can you do something about it? Okay. I'm going to do this tomorrow. Can't do something about it. It's not serving me. And so that thought goes from either just being negative, don't, whatever, to here's a solution, a thing I got to do, a positive, constructive thing. And that's the way to do it. So, all right, cool. I'm gonna end it. Thanks everybody for tuning in.
All right, good night.
Well, I'm gonna, stop recording.